Hey guys, Kyle here from Kickstart Automation. And if this is your first Don't Miss a Beat series, today we're going to be focusing on a startup based business to succeed. And what I mean by that is turning their new leads into customers. So, excuse me. So, with each Don't Miss a Beat series, we always focus on a different industry. And so today I'll be giving a scenario of a startup-based business that they have developed their own software, but they need to have an inbound and outbound sales and marketing strategy to get new customers to start using their software. So today we're going to be using Infusionsoft. And if you don't know what Infusionsoft is, it's a sales and marketing automation tool that helps small and medium-sized businesses grow and scale to have certain touch points with their customers and have more relevant conversations with their prospective customers and customers. So let's get right into it. These Don't Miss a Beat series only last for 15 minutes, so I like to keep it short and sweet. So diving right into the scenario, we got a local tech startup that they have just launched their first enterprise mobile management application, and it specializes in helping hospital supply staff managers keep optimal stock levels in their back rooms. So, for example, they've developed software that allow IT managers and hospitals to have an iPad app that they can give to their I don't know the technical name for it, but their storeroom employees that keep bandages and medicine in the back rooms and keep those levels stocked. So how the software works is when a certain level hits a certain level of, let's say, 40%, it will actually in the background actually reorder a new stock, so that by the time those bandages from 40% hit to 0%, a new stock will be in a day before, to make sure that certain bandages in the month of August doesn't hit zero, because a lot of people are hiking and hurt themselves, for example. So this software is used for hospitals. So the challenge here is building an inbound and outbound sales strategy that will qualify their target market, and prospects would be IT managers that work at hospitals. And they're focusing on managers all across the states and parts of Canada. And with these new prospects, they need to move them through different sales stages so that they become new customers. So this is a type of scenario that I have seen a lot of requests from some people off social media and some people that I've met at a few conferences, and they've put some strategies together, but they just haven't been able to successfully implement them inside their organization. So hopefully this webinar is helpful, and it kind of addresses some of the pain points, but also has some aha moments where you're like, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty easy. So let's dig right into it. So now we know the scenario, but let's look at some of the challenges and kind of why you kind of need to automate some of the some of the procedures in your sales and marketing strategy. So the first one is attracting and collecting potential leads. So A and C are capitalized here because they're fairly important. Attracting, of course, is your marketing. So marketing is like PPC or social media, or it could be advertising in particular trade magazines where these IT managers, have subscriptions with, right? And it has a 1-800 number. And so this is where the collecting part of it is that they actually then input their information. How do we then take the most benefit of that information of the lead? So that's the first challenge, is looking at kind of the software and the procedures with number one. Number two is separating those qualified and non-qualified leads. So you can have a bunch of leads, but how do we, talk to the ones that are only qualified and, kind of move the ones that are not qualified into a nurturing stage and wait for them to, become more educated about the product before we talk to them. Number three is, and this is kind of synonymous with the non-qualified part, was nurturing warm leads to not too hot prospects when they're ready. So we'll see in the scenario where we're going to actually put in people that are wanting to know more and put them into a sequence for, let's say, 3 weeks of emails to, help them to see, some information about the product they didn't know about, that they were curious about, but we didn't address in previous situations. Number 4 is a challenge of these new prospects that turn into opportunities. We now have to move these prospects into different sales stages within a timely manner. So some of the companies I've worked for in the past have been great. They've had a great product. But what we've, companies I've worked in, what's been hard is actually having management and the sales rep be on the same page of an actual sales automation, or maybe it wasn't automation at that time, but maybe just a sales strategy. Like, this is what you do when this happens, and actually have it all drawn out and have like a manual, or have something that was very clear. This is what you say. That is fairly rare. I worked in companies that, okay, this is the product, here's the leads, do your thing. And it's fairly common that management's like, oh, this person's, they're not smart enough, or they don't have the right skills, and they got to go get someone else. The answer is just having a sales strategy and implementing it and training sales staff about it, and then from the data actually optimizing the stages to be even better. So we'll look at that in a bit. So the customer lifecycle strategy, or the customer lifecycle diagram that you see in front of you. Every customer lifecycle strategy needs these 3 components. And when they are in place, you can have a sustainable business. And the attract is when you're actually attracting the leads in through these marketing sources and attracting and collecting the lead data. The sell is when you're actually educating these new leads about the product, educating these new leads about the product. And then once they've actually purchased, you need to wow them. All right, that could be upsells or downsells. It could be, referring them to get new leads from existing customers that have just purchased. So that's the wow phase. So what does this sales strategy look like at a campaign level, or a 12,000 foot level looking down? So this is what it looks like. This is using Infusionsoft, and we've built out a campaign here that is a customer lifecycle that is specific to this scenario. So I'll be getting into it a little bit more in detail, but because of sake of time, we're almost at 8 minutes. I always like to keep them close to 15 minutes. So where we start off with is we start off with the attract phase. Start off at the left, and so we have our ads. We're advertising this software through on a couple of different channels, and we're giving a 1-800 number for prospects to call. We're also having a print ad in some trade magazines for them to call, and they hit this call center. This call center uses an internal web form or a landing page that we give them to fill out lead information, and they can either find out from the lead if they're not qualified. Maybe this lead that called up, maybe they work as a vet technician and it's just not a good fit. Well, they're not qualified, so they go in there. So this is the attract phase that we build. This is for a web form for a website for the white paper that requested it, so we keep in touch with them. Maybe we can get a sale out of that, but I'll be going through that a little more in detail in a few seconds here. The sell is where in this sequence here we actually put the lead in to get nurtured. It can be for as long as you want. In this example, you'll see it's only about a week and a half. The wow is when they've actually, over on the right here, when they've actually purchased a product, that in one of the sequences we actually, start looking for referrals, and we can actually put out surveys and stuff as well. So I've kind of told you about the attract. The attract is, through these. This is kind of more of a demonstration, these logos here, but it just helps you show that these advertising sources are coming in using this web form, This is a lead form here for the website here. So this is the attract, the target and collecting the leads. This is we're looking at now the educate and offer, and this would be in this series, in this sequence here. If they were not qualified, we just send them an email. If they were qualified, we'd set them up for an appointment, and this would be from the call center that would set the appointment. And here in this sequence, if they just called up and they wanted more information, well, we'd send them the white paper, plus we would give them more emails over time to bring home the point of the value that this software brings. And I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. So let's break right into it. So this is the sequence right now inside of Infusionsoft. So this is an internal web form that the call center would have access to the landing page. It's internal. It's not publicly known, but it's for the call center to use to input lead information that comes off leads that call the phone number. We then put them through the funnel. So not qualified, they would get a tag, and they would get an email say, hey, sorry, we couldn't help you. If they were able to, schedule a time with the phone operator at this call center, that time would then be recorded. It would be going into merge fields inside these emails to the new lead saying, hey, we got your appointment, it's confirmed. And we then assign this lead to an actual sales rep inside this software company that we've been talking about, and would send an email to the sales rep as well, telling them that they have a meeting booked. Now, if the person called and they just want more information, the person at the call center that is handling the 1-800 number advertising campaign, they might just send them the white paper to their email address. And if so, we send them the white paper, but then over the next 3 or 2 days or so, we keep on following up with an email. Now, the great thing about warming these leads, and this was one of the challenges, is over time to warm up non-qualified leads. They're not qualified at this point, but they're not ready to buy at this point, but they could be ready to buy later on. And so within the sequence, when they're ready to buy, they would click a link saying, please contact me. They then meet this goal, and they then get passed over into this sequence. And that sequence would then alert the call center up here to give this lead a call, and after the call, they could then book a time for one of the sales rep meetings to actually do a demo of the software and actually listen to some of the challenges that they're having, and seeing if this is also a particular good fit with the client and this software that they implement inside of the hospitals. So how it goes is that after the meeting has been completed, a tag is added. The sales rep would add a tag that they've attended a meeting, but then also add a second tag if they were qualified or not qualified. If they weren't qualified after that meeting, they would get an email, and they would get, if they were qualified and they wanted to learn more and they had very specific needs that needed to be addressed and a proposal was going to be sent to them, that's where the qualification stage would be triggered. It would create a new opportunity inside of Infusionsoft with that lead. So management could see that how many new opportunities have been created, and also how many new opportunities that each sales rep has. And it would send an email here to the client saying, hey, great meeting, we're looking into your needs and we'll get back to you. Once the sales rep has finished and has sent off the proposal, they then trigger the next stage, and once that stage has been triggered, we're then following up. And this is what we were getting to with one of the challenges was following up with leads 3 weeks later after we've chatted with them. So after 1 day, hey, did you receive the proposal? 3 days later, did you have any questions? 5 days later, hey, let's chat. And then if nothing happens, let's create a task for the sales rep to actually call them to see, hey, did aliens take you away or something like that? So we're always, keeping in touch with our potential leads at this point, they're actually interested. They're almost ready to sign. It's more or less just getting them at a good time when they're ready to buy. So that's where we're at in this stage in the sales cycle. Um, if if they don't buy directly right away, they might in this stage actually get back to the sales rep and say, hey, I like what you said in your proposal, but we need to have a couple of little changes in the proposal. Well, that's fine. You change the proposal, you send it back to the client, and then you're in your negotiation stage. And then in the negotiation stage, once it's been sent, one day later, after the proposal that has been modified and resent back to the client, one day after that, we would say, hey, did you receive the proposal? Did you have any questions? So it's the same thing as before. We're keeping the communication alive to try and get them to, slowly pushing them to, the won or the lost. The worst thing that you can have in a sales funnel is maybes. So with each lead that is created an opportunity, we always have to keep moving them through the funnel that they're either won or lost. And that's just, the name of the game. It's all about numbers. And once you have set this up, you can start seeing the numbers start showing. I can show you here. Once this is actually live, you can actually see when it's live, you can see the performance numbers. Zeros here are the top, and the numerator of active is the top, and then historical, you can see the little cloud, is actually the historical. So that's kind of the performance side. So you can actually start seeing, how can we improve the process to make it even better for both the sales reps and for the company's bottom line. So again, let me just go back to the presentation here. So I have, let's see, I haven't went through the wow yet. So the wow, let's see here. The wow is pretty much after they have purchased the product, they hit this sequence, and we say, hey, thanks for your purchase. 2 days later, we schedule a welcome call to this new customer. 7 days later, we ask them how it's going, and then 20 days later, we then send them an email, and it really depends on the company of where they would like to get a review placed. Is in this email. Sometimes people actually like to send an email to actually send a survey, like a net promoter score survey, to see how the experience that they received, and this can help management see kind of how their sales reps are doing. So that's kind of like later on. So in the wow here, you can also, it really depends up to the company how they would like to wow their customer. Maybe it's offering some other free information, or maybe some free subscriptions for something else. This could be maybe an upsell. So it really depends on what the company likes to do. But it's all possible when you're setting up a customer lifecycle here. It just needs to have those three components, and those are, again, the attract, the sell, and then the wow. So those three together create, a lifecycle, a customer lifecycle. So we're at 18 minutes, and I like to, again, like I said, I like to keep these short and sweet. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at kyle@kickstartautomation.com. Before we kick it off, or not kick it off, but kick it down, I guess, or wide it down, some of the questions I get after we go through these customer lifecycle strategy sessions is, okay, how do I get started? And this is kind of what you need to get started. First of all, you need to have your white paper. This is kind of what attracts people in the first place to download it. And when you attract them, you get their email, you get their information. So you need a white paper. A white paper, if you don't know what a white paper is, it's a 5-page information source that is useful information for your target market that they have been pondering about, that they haven't been able to find information about, and now they can read this white paper that addresses some of the issues and pain points that they've had, and then tips. These are blog pages that will be used in your nurturing sequences that you'll be linking to. So that's the first thing you need. Second is, in this scenario, we use an internal landing page. It's fairly easy to build, but you need it. Internal landing page was what the call center was using to input the lead information. Okay, email content. So of all those emails that we put in place, we need to fill all those little emails that you saw in the campaign builder. Actually, write the content for those emails. The beautiful part of it is that once you've kind of set up those templates, the communication, makes both management happy with the communication of the company to its customers happy, and it helps the sales reps even happier because they can spend less time typing up emails and actually just sending out emails that are relevant out to their customers a lot faster. Traffic source. So this is at the attract side of it. You got to be advertising through Facebook ads, Google PPC. That's at the beginning of it to get those leads into the funnel. Infusionsoft campaign. That's the fifth check right here. Infusionsoft campaign. We built this in an Infusionsoft campaign, like I just said. You need to have an Infusionsoft app to do so. And lastly is sales opportunity training. So this is training your sales rep on how to use Infusionsoft and move leads through the sales funnel. So little shameless promotions here. Here at Kickstart, we actually help companies implement these sales and marketing funnels inside their organization and actually help train the sales rep know how to move leads through the system. So that's just my little selfish promotions part of it. But we're now at 21 minutes, and I'd like to keep it short and sweet. So if you do have any questions, it's Kyle at Kickstart Automation, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.